So if you've been following along with this 3-valve Mustang GT project, it had broken a valve lash adjuster and chewed up the cam, and so we decided to buy a replacement engine. We pulled the engine out of this car, and I had told my friend that there's probably the keepers and roller bearings and things down inside the engine somewhere, so we're going to disassemble the old engine and start looking into it. So here's just going around looking at the timing cover bolts and stuff. I always like to take video for reference of where all the bolts go and stuff. We're going to remove this timing cover. It looks like it has an aftermarket underdrive pulley kit on it. And we'll get this timing cover off and start taking the timing stuff apart. Now, he bought a really interesting, neat set of these wedge tools that go in here and hold the chains in place. And then you can take off the phasers and cam gears, basically. And so that was kind of interesting. We did that, took off all the timing components, and got the engine to the point where we could take the head off and stuff. So this is just kind of looking around. Had the crank position wheel here, the HDR wheel, and this looked really good. I was showing him how the sprockets on these go a certain way. It says front on it, but don't put it on backwards like that. Somebody had done that before with one of my cars. So this is the valve that had the issue. It was stuck just in this position, and we were able to pull it out. Luckily, it didn't kiss the piston. It doesn't look like it touched at all, which is really shocking, actually. The piston looked really good. Although the piston has all this milky, I don't know, condensation or something on it. His mechanic friend said that it could be just from that valve being open all the time. And so I was looking for the head gasket to have some cracks in it. I didn't know if it was leaking coolant into it. We checked the cylinder wall for any cracks to see if coolant was getting in, but the rest of it was pretty clean. So that's kind of a weird one. I haven't seen anything like that before. And I guess if an engine is needing to warm up and it's got condensation inside that doesn't burn out and you drive it for short distances, this can happen. And the other side had this on the cam lobes, so it could just be a condensation issue. And so I don't know what the deal is with that. And the oil pan was kind of gross inside too, had some dripping of that all in there too. So if you know what that is, you can leave that in the comments. I appreciate it. And so if we look at the head, you can see that cylinder where my hand's touching, that cylinder is the part where it had all the moisture and the condensation and the gunk buildup. And sometimes when you have like a blown head gasket or something, it'll like steam clean that piston as the engine's running. And so to me, that's the explanation to why these combustion chambers are different, how some of them are dirty and one of them's kind of cleaned up, and the cylinders, why they look that way too. Because it must have had a lot of moisture in there, cleaning it up by pressure washing it, basically, and the extreme heat and pressure of the cylinder. So just really weird to see. But here's the bent valve. We pulled it out of the head, and if you look down in here, you can see the valve seal and seat and everything's all jacked up. So you see the damage right there. Now I guess these can be pressed out, and you can press new ones in. So regardless, some people were saying you should just, replace the valve and put it back together. But the engine basically should come out of the car at this point because the oil pan had to come off, and I'll show you why here. When we removed the oil pan, we did find the keeper in there because I knew they were in there somewhere, and then a whole bunch of metal pieces down here in the oil pan. And so there's the top of the valve lash, and we were able to pull, you can see here, yep, chunks of everything. It wasn't too bad, and there wasn't like tons of metal shavings or anything. It's just all the pieces to the valve train that are coming off in here and stuff. And so the oil was really gross too. It was like kind of milky, which surprised us because we changed the oil and it came out pretty clean. It looked kind of marbly, like it had metal in it, or maybe it was just some coolant or condensation or something, but the oil didn't look very good. I took the pickup tube off, and there you can see roller bearings, and the other keeper is in there, and some other stuff that we found in here. So there you go. This is why the oil pan needed to come off, in my opinion. You get too much junk in there and starve the pickup tube. But this is, look at all this stuff. This was all in there in the bottom of the oil pan, getting sucked up into the pickup tube, and there's junk everywhere. So now we're going to take this cam out on the driver's side. It's a Ford Racing hot cam. He bought one replacement for the passenger side, and so here's the new engine. He did the valve covers, looks really good. So he'll transfer the cam over and then do the other one. So he bought the replacement, so we'll just install the cams, and here's the followers. They just kind of fall off when you take the cam off. Pretty interesting. So anyway, that's just kind of an update on the car and what we're doing and what we found. I suggested that there would be metal and pieces down through the oil galleys that made it in the oil pan, most likely, little roller bearings and everything, and sure enough, they were all down there in the oil pan and in the pickup tube. So we'll keep you updated as we go. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.